How's it,
Hello.
everybody?
Hello.
How's it going?
Tell you, Cape Town is today is the official start of the summer. It is looking hot in the city.
It is quite warm, I have to say. I'm sweating a little bit here, but it's all good. It's all good. It's not as bad as Joburg though. Joburg has been like crazy hot. Whereas yeah, I mean not too bad.
I think Feb and March is going to be terrible. Cold
Uh,
winter, hot summer. That's what they say.
I don't think it's been too bad. I think it's been all right. It's been all
So
right.
far, so
So
far.
so far. So are you enjoying it? When,
Yeah, I just get myself organized here. Sorry. I'm okay as long as I have a pool somewhere or something cold or a beer or whatever the case may be to help me out.
it's all good. Lekker. Notabeko, how's it? How are you? I can't
No,
hear. There we go. How's it?
oh, I'm good. I'm good, thanks. Yeah.
Good, good, good. Excellent.
Yeah.
Uh, who else have we got? Marianne, how's it?
Good, thanks. And you?
Fantastic, thank you. All is well. And Yvonne, how goes it with you? Long time no speak.
Good. How are you guys? Sorry for blue days and nights. So no makeup, no hair today, but it's been really good, and it's good to see you guys in the new year. I hope
Indeed.
it's been going really well for everybody. Sorry I missed the first one. I'm here now.
It's okay. We only spoke about AI and like how to automate everything. Sorry you missed it, eh?
I would have like nothing serious.
Nothing serious. So it was a bit of a catch up, and yeah, I shared some insights into AI. Did any of you use that GPT, by the way, that I gave you? Did you do it?
I did play around with it. I realized that I need some serious time with it. And I've actually there's actually a lot of new stuff on the market. I mean, the stuff is just popping up at an unbelievable rate. I think it's becoming more difficult now to work through all the options. That's but it's
pick
very interesting.
pick something and learn that. That's
Yeah,
the route. It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
Also, I don't look at the other stuff. I can't. But
I started it, but then I couldn't finish. I ran out of allocated stuff on ChatGPT. Allocated.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Really?
But I might have been doing stuff earlier in the day. So, but to be honest, I haven't actually had time to go back and look at it again.
Well, obviously, you can open the same
On the
chat and
agenda.
just continue.
Mm.
That's an interesting point, actually.
Because I'm still on the free stuff. I'm probably going to sign up for the paid one at some point in the near future, but it's just one of those things that's on the to-do list that hasn't got to the top yet.
Yeah. No, it's like when you need it, then you pay for it. The problem is when you pay for it, then you realize you needed more, and then you can't.
Oh yeah, I've discovered that with everything that I've ever done, starting with signing up for the internet. It was a luxury, but it wasn't after 5 minutes after you got it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, okay, it'll be interesting, but it's yeah, very very cool to go through.
Cool.
And you're looking very animated today. Tell us, we want to know. Oh, the two of you, what are you up to?
Next. Because when we saw each other earlier,
it was we were looking the same earlier.
We were looking the same earlier. So we were looking disheveled, and it's 30,000 degrees in Cape Town today. So it's hot and everybody's bothered. And so we were looking very similar this morning. And now I get online and I look completely different. And I'm like, yeah, so she's just being like, yeah.
You keep up good, man. That's all I'm saying.
Anyway, so yeah, James, just quick. Hi guys, everybody. I have to leave at 4 for a meeting with a UAE developer. So yeah, so if I leave, don't take any exception, I'll pick up. But I did manage to catch up. Aha.
Wow, there we go.
Aha.
Aha.
Caught it up.
All right. Well, today gets a little bit more exciting than it has been. So up until now, it's really been just getting your focus and your ideas, because it's actually quite important. You can't really do anything in marketing and unless you know what's up. So I think we've pretty much got everybody to the point where the profile is doing the work that it's supposed to. Now we get to actually leverage that and start reaching out to people. So there's one of two ways I could go with this. We could talk about messaging first and then go and work out how to use the filters, and I flipped the coin and that's where it landed. So we're going to talk about messaging today. So let me share what's up. We'll do some live stuff because I'm going to give you some theory, but it's easier if I actually just show you what I'm actually talking about. So let's jump in. Let's pop us all over there. Come on, man.
So the old request, James, can you please give us the link to this?
Well, now let me just all right, let's start with that. All right, here we go. In the chat.
Thank you very much.
So I'm going to talk to you today about connection messages, right? So you're at the point essentially now where you've got your profiles dialed in, and let's assume that you found the right people and you about to want to reach out to somebody. So that's really what today is all about. So just very quickly, as we do, the last 9 sessions were in week 1, picking our niche, right? And then getting into our magic message. This is probably the key to everything, really. It's probably the most important thing. Because once you've got that, everything follows from there, even what we're going to do today. Then we got into the graphical stuff with our profile pic and our banner. We got into the about section, probably the most complex, but you answer a lot of questions here. And then we finished up with the experience section, which is kind of nuts and bolts. And so when you look at that as an entire package, somebody can really assess whether you're the right person to work with it, right? So the job now is obviously just to get out there and to speak to them. And so this week and next week, I'm going to take you through. I'm going to talk a little bit firstly about strategy and process, and then we'll get into firstly the connection message. Next week, I'll talk to you about how to draft the thanks for connecting message. So that's the message, the message after that, right? So send you a connection request, you accept it. Then I send the second message. That's this one over here. Now, what I want to show you, well, I'll show you this in 1 second. Let me just give you the goal quickly. So the goal here is to book a consultation. Right? That's the goal for all of us. At the end of the day, we just want to speak to people. And so when you kind of look at it, just think of it as a simple 3-step process. So step 1, so what we're doing today is the connection message. Okay, send you a connection message, and I'll tell you what you can and can't do with that in just a second. The second step is going to be taking those people that accepted your connection message and just thanking them and trying to start a conversation. And then once you've done that, the last thing you're going to do is for the people that you feel are interested or are a good fit. And for some, we have to discover them. I'll show you what I mean in just a minute. There's a follow-up process, right? And in our follow-up, we just want a yes or a no, not a maybe. Because a maybe sucks. I would encourage you to take a maybe as a no. So, people often don't want to disappoint you. So they might come up with a bunch of excuses. I've got to do this, I've got to do that, and you just never get to the point. It's like, I'm quite a big fan of saying to people, look, if the answer is no, I accept it. It's not a big deal. There's no hard feelings. But like, if it's no, could you just tell me that, right? Because the biggest pain in the ass, in my world anyway, maybe yours, is the follow-up. Like, I hate follow-up. I do it because I must. But it's like, if you're not interested, just tell me, then I don't have to follow up and you don't need to dodge my calls. because I'm going to phone you until you tell me to stop. Right? That's how it's going to happen. So this is really the process. It's a simple 3-step process. Now, we may or may not have spoken about this in the past. I might have shown this to you, but really, in terms of the full system, this is kind of what it looks like, right? So if you think about it, there's 3 levels to this. We have essentially, up until the last session, we've completed this first bit where we've worked out who we want to speak to, we've got the right messaging, and now we've got the profile in place. The profile now being a sales letter, right? Because that's what all of us are trying to do, is we're trying to bring new clients into our world. So now that we know this, the next thing we're going to do is we're trying to connect with them. So that's what we're doing here. So the first thing is to be able to use the filters, which, as I said, I kind of switched these 2 around. It was 6 of one and a half dozen of the other. But being able to find 100 of these people that we specifically identified, that we built our profile specifically for, right? We find 100 of them, and we were able to send 100 connection requests. So step number 5, every single week to our ideal clients, right? So you're not on LinkedIn anymore, just blowing and trying to deal with everybody. You have a very specific target audience, because the goal here is that when you send a connection request, they say, who's this person sending me a connection request? And immediately they default to the profile. That's why the profile does the selling for you, because people's natural curiosity are going to drive them there. Statistically, it has been this way for the last 6 decades, 7 decades. They are always 1 to 3%. And I believe because of the improvements that we made to the system, probably 1 to 5% of people that are consistently looking for your product or service right now. And it doesn't matter what you sell, whether it's property or LinkedIn training or financial services or accounting, irrelevant, right? There's always somebody in the market. Somebody's always buying something, right? So what we're trying to do is we're hoping that the people that we reach out to are the people that are looking. That's kind of the immediate goal of what we're trying to do. But anyway, we then send them a connection request. A number of them will accept. And to be honest, in this program, this is where this is going to stop. Okay, and I'll go into a little bit more detail what I mean in a second. So I'm trying to get you to this point. Then in terms of taking it to the next step, this is where I like to add some email and some automation into the process. And the reason that we do this is because oftentimes when you reach out to somebody, which is what we're going to do now, they get to the point and they're just busy, right? And they think, you know what, I need to speak to Ingo on Monday. And Monday comes around and guess what? That doesn't happen, right? Because they got busy with something else. But they're there. They want to speak to you. And if you forget about it and you do nothing about it, they disappear. And that's where, particularly this last step is the follow-up. What we found is when we add email into the process, we double, and in many cases, we triple the amount of meetings we get. And a lot of it is just that timing thing. It's like, I'll speak to them on Monday. This just gives you multiple other opportunities to get that timing right. Because the follow-up is simple, right? If someone talks to you on LinkedIn, you just answer the messages on LinkedIn. If not, you put this automation in place. I've got 9 emails in my current sequence that go out over a 6-week period. So you're seeing me in your inbox 9 times in 6 weeks. You'll know my name by the time it's finished. And I know that it works because I book meetings from every one of those 9 emails, right? Obviously with different people. Because some people respond after 2 emails, some after 5, some need 9. That doesn't really matter. And obviously there's a lot that don't, right? They genuinely not interested. And that's perfectly fine. That's the other 95%. That's okay. But what the automation allows, it allows me to find the people that are without me having to phone every single person to find out. And then the process is the same. And you'll see in terms of the messaging is you send it out, and then what happens is people go to your profile, they like what they see, and they will invariably approach you. So this whole approach actually turns the conventional selling thing on its head, because you've actually done the hard work and you've taken the trouble to build a profile that speaks specifically to these people. All they've got to do is see it. Now all you got to do is put your profile in front of the right people, right? It's a numbers game from this point on. It's very, very, very simple, right? The more consistent you are, the more you will close. It really works that way. So this is kind of what it looks like, right? We find, right, that 20% of the meetings that we book in this entire system come from a connection request, what I'm going to teach you today, right? Now, obviously not just a connection request in isolation, but a connection request because the person who's received the connection request says, who's this person sending me the connection request? They have a look at the profile. If it speaks to them and they're in that band of either curiosity or actually needing what you sell, a conversation will ensue that eventually ends up with you saying, hey man, why don't we just jump onto a quick Zoom call and I'll explain that to you. And honestly, that's as hard as it is to book a meeting. It's really not rocket science, right? So we then go ahead and we send that second message, the one we're going to do next week. So that message, I don't know, go out anywhere from a day later to a week later. And it's a very simple message, as you'll see. It's a thanks for connecting message. It's really just thanking them. And really all I'm trying to do is I'm having another go at the timing. This is my most successful message in my entire arsenal for booking meetings. Generally, we'll book in the region of 30 to 35%, right? So depending on who you are, typically 30 to 40% of the meetings will come from just the second message, right? Because again, it's now the second interaction, and you'll see when we draft this some magic in the message itself. People look at it and say, wow, let me go look at the profile. They look at the profile differently. They come back, and then again, they start the conversation. And then the last lot of this comes from the email and the rest of the automation. Typically 40% I can attribute to email, but email often drives people back to LinkedIn. So it's probably 50-50. So the reason I'm teaching you the system to step 5 is because probably 50% of your leads will come from you just doing 2 messages. If you did nothing else on LinkedIn, which I'm definitely not suggesting you do, you should do a bit more. But if you do nothing else and you send 100 connection requests a week, right, 20 a day, that's it, right? You will book meetings. And then when it comes back, you just answer whatever the hell is in your inbox. Obviously, we're not adding email at this point, but you can add email on your own. You don't need to explain it to you. You understand. If you want to do email, you can do that, right? But even if you don't, and you're just on LinkedIn, you should realistically be able to close. And I don't care what business you're in, at least 1 to 2 meetings a week through this system, right? Because the numbers game, right? You're going to send 100 connection requests. Probably somewhere between 30 and 60% of those people will accept. And then you're going to send that second message. So you're going to have somewhere between 30 and 60 people who are your ideal target market every week that are looking at your profile, that are interested in what you're doing, or that are potentially interested, right? And then after this, nothing stops you taking it a step further and now starting engaging and having conversations with people, because they're already connections. Okay, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, but I just wanted to give you the structure and kind of the context of where we're going. Let me actually just pull you guys across here. Do you guys have any questions on that? Hopefully this is getting quite exciting for you now, because this is, I mean, that's, yeah.
How do we approach existing connections?
I'll speak to you about that a little bit later.
Okay, that's fine.
Let's get through this piece first, and then we'll talk a little bit about it. Because what will happen is you'll find that in our interactions, a lot of those sorts of questions will be answered. So you'll see that. Anything else? Are you guys excited? Are you ready to rock this thing? Okay, so let's oops. Yeah. Okay. Right. So that being said, so let's talk about your connection message. Now, the goal of the connection message is very simple. That is to get them to say yes. You just want them to accept the connection message. That's its only job, nothing more, right? So we want to get the maximum amount of people that we possibly can to say yes. So we send 100 connection requests a week. That's our allowance, right? The magic message that you created, its job is to convince the vast majority of those people, because you stack the probability in your favor, to say, yes, that's what I need, and therefore I'm going to accept the connection request. Okay. So that's what we're trying to do. Just get as many people to say yes. That's its only job, right? So there's two ways to send a connection request. So let's just do this. Sorry, let me just. Two ways to send a connection request, right? When you're speaking to somebody, let's just go and do. Just picking anyone at random, right? Just to show you the principle there. So if I wanted to reach out to this person, right, you have the button that says connect. So if you go on to connect, I can just hit send it without notes. So if I just hit this as a connection message, it's going to go, right? It's going to go out and it will be sent. If I add a note, I now get to write something in the message, right? So that being said, let's go here, show you what this looks like. I've left this for a bit intentionally, so I hope I'm going to have a few people so I could show you this. Right. So look at all these people, right? This guy here, sorry, let's go to people. That's all this shit. You can see all of these people have sent me a connection request, for want of a better description. Now, there's no message anywhere, right? There's no message, there's no message, there's no message, there's no message. Yes, sister, nobody sent me a message. Holy shit. Not one person sent me a message. So all of these people just went here and said, send. Okay. They are making me work properly freaking hard. I have to, like, why have you sent me this connection request? So now all I've got to go on is this, right? I've got a name, and I've got a little bit, and again, this is telling me a little bit about them. So this is why it was so important to have a good magic message, right? Because you can see. So if we open this guy, let's just go to his profile. Right. So this is his profile, right? So there's the name and there's his magic message. You can see in his invitation, that's what I saw. I saw the picture, I saw the name, and I saw his magic message. None of this which is helping him in his process of convincing me that I should accept his connection request. He hasn't given me a note to tell me why. And so if I'm looking at this and I'm making it as a finance enthusiast leader, I don't know, maybe I might just accept or I might ignore. It's very unlikely I'll accept. I'll always go look, right? But he didn't do himself any great favors in getting to the point of acceptance. Now, if somebody had, and unfortunately nobody has, if somebody had written me a message, I would see a big box here. And if I was scrolling down these messages and somebody had sent me an actual connection message, it would have been, wow, it would have drawn my attention. Okay. So I'm showing you what they see when you send them your connection request. Now, the ironic thing is there is quite a lot of statistics to back up that doing what all of these people have done and not sending a connection request will actually improve the amount of people that will accept your connection request. I'm not sure I buy into that. I think for people that have shitty messages like this, and for people that say, hey, I'm a sales rep at XYZ company, basically screams that, hey, I want to sell you some shit, right? If you've got stupid profiles like that, yes, then you've got to try to duck under the radar and hope that I don't actually go look at your profile and I'll just accept you. But that's not the problem, because that's not our main goal. Our main goal is how many people speak to us, how many meetings have we got. When you put a proper connection request in, first it gives them context. If they then decide to accept your connection request because they've had context from your message, they've then gone to the profile, they've got context from the profile. If they then decide that they're going to accept, when you follow up your subsequent messages, right, by a factor of about 7 empirically, you will have improved your chance of getting a response, which is why we are here. Okay, so I'm telling you all this because you're going to read all sorts of shit everywhere and people are going to tell you, you don't need a connection note. Yeah, you do. Okay, so you want to go here and write a message, connection message. That's the goal. Right. That is what this is all about over here. Let me pull you guys back here. Are there any questions on that? Because that's kind of key that you understand that. And does that make sense? as you look at that. I'm trying to show it to you from their perspective so that whenever you're marketing, get yourself into the shoes of your clients, into their experience. I'll make you a really, really good marketer. That all makes sense. Any aha moments there from any of you?
Yeah, just not. No.
Start with Inga.
I'm going to love and leave you. It makes loads of sense because I'm going through literally hundreds of connection requests, going into every profile and going, why am I doing this? Just no, just no, just no. You know, it's like, why? What value are you going to bring? You're just coming to look, you know, because you know 36 of my connections now. I must connect with you. No, it's not how it works.
Exactly. So if you think like that, so do the other intelligent people that you want to work with. A lot of people will accept, but they're not the people that work with us. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Our people are different level. It just is. Like, I'm just stating.
All right, guys, love and leave you. Thanks, James. I'll watch the rest of the recording. Okay.
Cool.
Bye.
Laters. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Marion.
Yeah, I've found a lot of people don't send a message that makes me want to connect with them. So yeah, that's the issue for me is I'm interested to see what message you suggest, because the messages that I receive, I look at their profile and I think, nah, you want to sell to me. Bye.
So connection messages is a little trickier than it looks, clearly, right? Because of that. But that's the game. So what you're saying, which is kind of backs up that other research, right? What you're saying is that that person would have been better off not sending a connection request.
Yeah.
Not sending a message.
Well, it depends on how their profile is put together. Because again, I've learned anybody that's selling coaching services, if they initiate a thing with me, and my thing is, if I've never heard of you, so you have never responded to anything that I've posted, and you're a complete stranger, you're not on my connection, you know, there's no obvious reason for you to connect with me other than you're going to sell me how to work on LinkedIn, you know, how to get more clients. All the people that advertise, that's what they do.
You are such a skeptic, and I'm going to teach you to do exactly that.
It's born out of experience, years and years of people. Yeah, I'd like to connect with you. Hello, I'm happy to connect with you. And then the next message is, would you like to buy my services?
Yeah.
And
so that's
go away.
So that's the problem, right? So we can't do that. In fact, if you think about what Marion just said there, when you're writing messages, like just think to yourself, would you do that face to face? If the answer is no, then don't do it in a damn message. If you would, then do it, right? So let's talk more about this. So if I'm telling you to send a connection request, right, and I'm saying personalize it, what the hell does that mean? Good question, right? So there's degrees of personalization. I'm going to teach you both, and you'll decide which one works for you at the end of the day. They both have pros and cons. So depending on who your target market is, right, you can do one of two things. So the first part of this is when you have a huge market. Like if you look at me and I deal with accountants and financial advisors, like I'm never ever running out of them, ever, right? Like there's just too many for me to deal with. And even if I completely hash 40 connection requests that I send out today, it's okay. There'll be more tomorrow. It's fine. It's not the end of the world, right? So it doesn't mean I don't personalize. It just means I personalize a little bit less than I have to. However, let's say I've got a small, very targeted market. So Marion, Andre, Yvonne, you're a bit broader. Not Rebecca, you're actually probably quite focused as well, right? The reality is that there might be certain people in that you're looking for where the market's a little bit smaller, right? They're a little bit harder to find just because it's a little bit more specialized. And you need to take a little bit more care about the connection request that you send, right? Because every connection counts. To give you an interesting example, last year when I was connecting with financial advisors, I send 40 connection requests a day, right? So connecting with financial advisors, but as I'm going through the process and deciding who I'm going to connect to, every now and again, I find somebody who is in charge of business development at one of the companies, or a franchise, or it's the franchise owner, etc. That person is a very different type of target market to me, because if I can get to them, they will put a bunch of their people on a training course, as opposed to me having to sell one-to-one. So the first lot is the huge market, financial advisors. But when I find these little gems, and it took me a year to build just over 300 of them, I put them onto a different list. I'm busy preparing a campaign, so I can send it to them. It'll be very specific. This campaign is going to be very different to this campaign, right? Because everybody counts. I'm going to show you just now how I'm going to treat the two separately. So this is the way you want to think about the degree that you personalize, right? Because your ultimate goal is to find the right people that potentially you can help, and then to eventually have a conversation with them and turn them into a paying client. So there are a couple of things you're not going to do. Okay, you're not going to send any links in a connection request for all sorts of reasons, but mostly because LinkedIn claims it's against terms of service, but they won't hyperlink it for you. So it's not to say you can't, absolutely can't, but you shouldn't. Best practice. Any links you need, they go find that on your profile. You're not going to include contact information, right? Here, they'll find that in the profile. No pictures, nothing free, nothing paid. Right? It's not the goal. Remember, the goal is just to get them to say yes. Accept my connection request. That's all I want. Okay, that's the goal over here. So there's two ways that we can look at this. So I'm going to show you two options. The first over here, which where this is the hyper personalized piece, and then the next one is where it's scalable and we've got common ground. So let's talk a little bit about this. Just trying to remember what I told you. I didn't tell you guys this piece. So in one of my presentations, I've got this concept that I call the red umbrella, and it's kind of, and you know, when we were picking the niche, it's that idea of standing out so that somebody sees the red umbrella. Like when they're looking for somebody in your space, you're the one that they must see. But this is the idea of the red umbrella, is we are personalizing this connection request to speak very specifically to a group of people. The idea with this, right, is that this message can only be sent, or it only makes sense to the recipient. Okay, so this is the 300 in my list, as opposed to the 40 a day, the 300 in a year, right? I'm going to say something very, very specific to them. I can't waste the connection request, right? So I'm going to try to be very, very hyper personalized, so that they look at it and they say, wow, this guy actually took some time. He looked at my profile. She did some research. Okay, even if I don't like what he's got, I can appreciate the effort that's gone in. Yeah, maybe I should speak to him, right? That's what this is all about. So the template is very simple, right? And this is a great template, and there are many, right? This is just one that really works and will get you guys thinking. There's 5 steps. The first thing is you're going to personalize. So you know, it's not hi or how's it or hey, you know, it can still be hi, but it's hi Andre, hello Montebello, right? Speak to the person, use their name. You'll be amazed at how few people do that, and it's such a simple thing to do. Then the first thing is like an icebreaker. Right? Think of it that way. The personalized first line. It's the icebreaker. It's the red umbrella. So, like, let's say my favorite example that I always use when I'm talking about messaging, and we'll come back to this again and again, is let's say Andre and I are going to Yvonne's place to watch the rugby, right? And we've never met. So we're at Yvonne's place, and I come in, and Andre's already at the braai because he's like a parrot. He's busy braaiing meat. So I walk up to him and I say, hey, how's it? I'm James, and I extend my hand. Hey, I'm Andre. And then I say, so how do you know Yvonne? Because like, what the hell am I going to say to Andre, right? I can either going to say, how do you know Yvonne? Or I'm going to say, we're going to blitz on the All Blacks today, eh? It's going to be one of those two things, right? Because there's a commonality and there's something I can talk about. And then he's going to say, no, man, I'll be mates with her forever. Actually, I mates with her husband. I met her at a business function, had some work for me, blah, blah, blah. And then now we into the conversation. How do you know her? Oh, she's actually on a LinkedIn course of mine. And then now we're chatting. And now the conversation's on, right? There's a rapport. We have something in common, and now the wheel can go on, right? Imagine I walk up to him and I say, how's it? I'm James. He says, I'm Andre. So Andre, do you need any help with your LinkedIn services? Do you need any help getting new clients? Like he will look at me as if I have lost my mind if I say that, or if he does the same to me, right? We don't do that shit in real life. So come to Marion's example, right, where the person connects and says, hey, do you want to buy my shit? Like, no, dude, I don't. Like, say hello. Like, qualify me to see maybe I don't want your stuff, I don't need it, but I'll listen to you, but just like say how's it? Let's see, right? And this is a mistake a lot of people make, is we just think everybody wants our stuff. No, they don't. And guess what? It's okay if they don't, right? So back to the template. Let's have a look at how will we do this. So how you will do this is you will go onto LinkedIn and you'll follow this process here. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to find something that's unique to them that you can use to start a conversation. Hey, how do you know Yvonne? Oh, hey, we're going to blitz on the All Blacks today. You're trying to find that on their profile as it relates to them. Okay. So now we look at the profile. So the first thing you're going to do is you start off and you look at the profile because you're on it anyway. So you guys have gone through a whole process. Now this is where all that hard work that you did really starts to pay off, because not only did you build your own profile, but you now understand what makes a good profile. You understand what goes into the elements. And so now when you look at a profile, you'll be able to look at a profile and judge whether this is a good person to deal with or not. You don't know that. That's like collateral skill that you've just inherited from this process. But this is what's going to happen. So you'll look at the profile and you'll go through the profile, right? You'll do the whole story. So we'll have a look. No banner, crappy picture, open to it, no headline, less than 500 connections, shitty profile. Am I accepting this? Hell no. I don't have to even read anything else, right? Just go on, end of story. This is what I'm saying to you. So you want to go to the profile and find reasons to connect, right? Now if you've got a good profile, great, then I can talk to you. If you haven't, yeah, it's a little bit harder. So we start with the profile. If there's nothing on the profile, so I can't see something in your banner, your headline didn't give me something, your about section's crappy, I can't find anything decent in your experience section, right? And for most people we can. Then I'm going to go look at your post. What did you post? Okay. If you want to connect with Marion, you have to do this, and you must like it. Only then can you speak to her, right? For the rest of us, it's all right. We look at the post, because if she's posting something and you comment on a post, she's going to see that, and then when you speak to her, she won't accept your connection request. She even told you that, right? If you don't come right there, then you look at the company page. If there is a company page, this is the LinkedIn company page. Then the website. If still not, now you got to go to Google. Yes, so now you're making me work hard, and I'm not sure I'm prepared to. Like, I really got to want to get to you if you haven't given me the information. But that's the process, right? Is you just you go through the process and you try to find something. So things that work quite well are observations and compliments. Observations are easier because they don't create judgment, and they don't create false impression. Compliments can be good or bad, right? So if you give somebody a disingenuous compliment, that's very bad, because what they're going to do is they're going to look at you and immediate is going to be, oh, you don't even know me, man. How do you know? Like, you just want to sell me something. I can tell, right? So it's quite hard to give a good compliment. You got to be really, really careful. So I'm quite a big fan of the observation. Right? I'm looking for the red umbrella. What is on your website where you show me something? So this is a real example for me. So I'm looking through my one of these guys, and he's I'm looking at his posts, going through his profile, and he's got this big picture He's just posted it today, in fact. He's got a big picture. He's got this big beaming smile. He's standing next to his significant other holding a trophy. Okay. And he writes some mumbo jumbo and basically he's saying, look, I'm very proud to have won this award for the second time, blah, blah, blah. Cool. Right. So a disingenuous compliment is, wow, David, congratulations. You must be an awesome financial advisor, winning the award 2 times in a row. It's like, yeah, maybe, but it's like if there was his best mate saying that, that was okay. If a stranger is saying that, don't know. So I don't do that, right? I just go say, hey, congratulations on becoming a 2-time winner of the XYZ award. I was looking for the red umbrella. He gave me the red umbrella. It's like, he's smiling. He's showing me. Here's my thing. I just noticed. That's all I did, right? I said, congratulations. Not, you must be the best. You're awesome. No, congratulations on becoming a 2-time winner. Now, the only person that this is going to make sense for is David. I can't say this to anybody else because he's the only oak that won that award for the second time. And I found that because I viewed his profile. I took the time. So when I write this, the first thing David's thinking is, oh, this looks cool. Who's this? Right? I'm already like, yeah, he's going to accept this connection request regardless of the shit I write below. Okay. So what do I write below? That's the next question. So I've broken the ice in a way that shows David, in this case, that I've looked at his profile and I've written something specifically for him. The next thing is you want to give them a reason to connect. Okay. Why are you valuable? Because anytime any of us look at a profile, are we saying, are we accepting this, yes or no? It's like, what's in it for me? Promise you we all ask that question. You have to be able to see what's in it for you either right now or potential for future. Okay, so you want to be able to try to let people know what's in it for them if you can. If you can't, then don't say anything. Just have the observation, right? But if you can, and you can do it in a way that doesn't scream, hey, I want to sell you something, that's the tricky part, you know, then it works. So I say, hey, I really appreciate you joining our strong network of accounting industry professionals. Actually, the one I actually use is like, I've got accountants and financial advisors and they want to network with each other. So I just always say, hey, I've got a strong network of accountants and financial advisors, and we talk about how to generate leads and clients. I'd love you to join. You know, and so I'm not saying, hey, I want to sell you lead generation. I'm saying join the network. They're not thinking I was selling their lead generation. Some of them probably are. They're thinking, yeah, the accountants want to, let's get into that network so I can get all of the financial advisors and vice versa. So it's just a way to show some value. And then a call to action. You must always tell people what to do. Don't assume they know. Let's connect and then sign it off like you sign. And that is a really, really good structure, right? To write a connection request. It's very, very simple. So that's option 1. Option 2 is where we're doing the mass thing, right? So the 40 a day to financial advisors. So here's the deal, right? I want to use automation to do this because, like, as you'll see in a minute, like this takes time, right? This whole process might take you 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes, realistically, right? You got to open the profile, you got to look at it, you got to find the red umbrella, you got to think what to craft, and you write the message. Okay, takes time. Even if it took you 3 minutes, you did 20 a day. It's an hour of your time to send 20 connection requests. Will you do it? Interesting question. We'll come back to that later, right? This one over here, I will tell you now, for all the money in the world, right? I send 40 connection requests a day. So some people can do 200, right? You've got to earn the right, but eventually you can do 200. There is not a day that goes by I do not send 40 connection requests. Not a day ever. Even if I'm sick, I will send 40 connection requests. I promise you I do not do that manually. All right? It's not going to happen. There's automation that does that for me. So if I'm going to send an automated message to 40 people today, right, I can't go find 40 different red umbrellas. I need to write one message, which I put in my automation tool, and then must send that message to everybody. So the only thing it needs to do is to say, hi, first name. Hi, David. Hi, James. Hi, Andre. That's all that this needs to do. The rest of this is all going to be the same, right? So the cool thing about this is, in order to find them, and we'll get into this not next week, but the week after that. Obviously, you take your ideal client and you go onto LinkedIn or Sales Navigator and you do a search, right? And we'll take a look at an example of that in a minute. So we do a search based on the filters. So when you've done that search, what happens is you can now you now know about that whole group of people that are in that search. You know a lot about them. You can make some assumptions about them, and you can write a message that will be applicable to every single one of them based on the filters. Because remember, when we spoke about a niche, we said a niche is a group of people with a specific set of characteristics, right? That's all that this is. They've got a certain set of characteristics driven by the filters that I use to find them, and some other stuff that I might know about my ideal client. And therefore I can make these assumptions, and I can create a message that I want them to look at it. I don't mind if they say to themselves, I wonder if that was sent by an automation robot. You can ask that question. I don't mind. The problem is if you say, oh, this was sent by a robot. That's the problem. But if you have to ask yourself, was it? I'm good with that, right? Because I'm still in the game. The only way I can get in the game is I've still got to personalize it so that you can see that I've viewed your profile. And even though, by the way, I'm sending bulk messages, I've still gone through a process to have chosen the people that I'm dealing with, right? So this is not just random, right? There is still some work that goes in behind this in order to find the right people. But I need them to know that I've looked at their profile and that there's a proper reason for me to connect. So instead of finding the red umbrella, you use the filters, take what you know about that group of people, and then you write something that's applicable to everybody, right? So this year, it was a client of mine I actually wrote this for, accountant, and he fancied himself as a bit of a graphic designer. And he was cuck at it, but like he liked it, right? And he said to me, in another life, I would have been a graphic designer. And I'm thinking, good thing you stayed an accountant, but nonetheless. He enjoyed it. He understood a lot about it. He used to watch it. It was like a passion of his. And so he said, well, I'd like to deal with small agencies, and I'd like to have them as clients because I can like fulfill my alter ego, right? So she's got a good why, all the things. So we go onto LinkedIn and we say, right, show us all the agencies, right? All the creative agencies with 1 to 10 employees that are in South Africa. There's some other criteria. So now we write this message, right? Hi, David. In my experience, South African creative agencies with less than 10 staff tend to be some of the best in the world. So there's a bit of a compliment there. That is my personal opinion. I've seen that. I'm very happy to stand by that. I'm not blowing smoke up anybody's behind. I genuinely mean that. It's a partial compliment, I suppose. It's not one of those disingenuous over the top. And actually, again, it's an observation, isn't it, that I've made. Now, I haven't said to him, hey, I'm connecting with you because you're a South African creative agency with less than 10 employees and I can help you with X, Y, Z. I'm not saying that cuck. That's not the point here, because that's when Marion gets pissed off and says, no, you're trying to sell me something and I'm not accepting your connection request. No, I make an observation. I say, look, in my experience, South African creative agencies with less than 10 staff tend to be some of the best in the world. And then you're reading this and you say, oh, that's me. Yes, that's true. We are good, aren't we? I like this guy already. All right. And then the rest of us is exactly the same. Okay. So the template is very simple. The only variable is the icebreaker. How do you get them to speak to you? That's what you want, and you got to create the value. This is the hardest thing you will ever do, is this piece over here. Right? The rest of it is relatively simple and straightforward. So that being said, let's go play. I'm going to take you onto Sales Navigator because it's just a little bit easier. I know a lot of you won't have it, but hopefully you guys will at least take a trial if you haven't got one. And we'll show you how to do some of this on LinkedIn as well, for those of you that have only got LinkedIn, right? So if I go into Sales Navigator, you've got a lot more filters than you ordinarily would have. So let's just go with, I'll pick somebody. Who wants to nominate somebody? Nominate an ideal client. This is your chance, guys. Anyone? All right. Let's go with account. Let's go with let's do financial advisors. So I'm going to pick financial advisors. Actually, before I do this, let me show you something. You can't do this in LinkedIn, right? Sorry. Typically, whenever I start, I always go to geography first. So you won't be able to see this in LinkedIn, but because you pay for Sales Navigator, you can. As soon as I include this, you'll see when this populates in just a second. You'll see how we have 13 million plus results. So LinkedIn has said, of the people that are in South Africa, allegedly, that are members of LinkedIn, there are 13 million of them. That, ladies and gentlemen, for most of you is your target market. For some of you is a tiny part of your target market, right? But that's just South Africa. So this is financial advisors, right? So let's say that I want them to be owners. I want them to be owners. So maybe they're a franchise owner, for example. Let's see what we got. This will bring it down significantly. 230,000. Wow, we got a lot of. Oh, sorry, this is in South Africa. Let me go to financial advisor. Sorry, no, actually, let me. James. Sorry, I'm going to go back to job title here. I'm going to put financial advisor. Let's see how many financial advisors we have in South Africa. 29,000, still too many. Let's go to seniority. Give me owners or partners. See what we got. Now we're down to 30. Okay, so let's go with this. In fact, let's not go with this. I want to go posted. Hello. Oh, no one's posted on LinkedIn. Okay, so let's not do that. Let's go and say, what's their company headcount? Let's go 1 to 10. And let's go and see who's posted on LinkedIn. Okay, so what do we know about these people? We know that they're in South Africa. There's 1 to 10 people. They're financial advisors. So we know that, right? We could add more things to it, but I'm not going to. So I'm just going to pick the first 3, just because they're the first 3 for no particular reason. I'm going to show you what this looks like. I do quite like. Oh, you're not going to give me this every single time, are you? I do want to see their LinkedIn profile. Right. So let's go to the first profile. So let's play the red umbrella game, right? The first piece that I show you. So we look at this chap. I'm looking at the profile. First impression, really good. Nice smiling photo. Nice banner. Not quite sure just yet, but as I start to move over, I'm starting to get a bit of a sense in terms of culture and persuasion. I then move down, and okay, now he's made it pretty clear. Right, the name gave me an indication, but head of Islamic finance planning, etc., etc. So I'm starting to get a good sense. I know who he is now already. I've got a fair sense. So I could probably stop now, right? So if in my connection request I was going to say something about it, it's like I really find the idea of not being able to charge interest so fascinating, and I also love all the ways around it to continue to make commerce live. Let's connect. Imagine I'd said that, right? Like I haven't directly said anything, but looking at his profile, he's going to know that I'm speaking kind of to him, right? So I can refer to his banner. I can refer to the information that he's got on here. I can refer to the fact that he's the head of Islamic finance planning. He's into business growth, so there's a good reason for me to connect with him, right? Because I do business development. We can talk about that. And then he tells you he's Islamic finance specialist. So that was what that other thing, for those of you that understand, that was very pertinent to him. He's also a podcast host. I can go find that if I want. I can talk about it, and the podcast is obviously called Benefit Continuum. Like just in that little piece, I've got 1,000,001 things I can say to break the ice with this guy, right? If I didn't, I could scroll. Then I went into the about section, and he's going to tell me he's on a mission, right? Anytime somebody says mission, passion, like they're telling you this is what I like, dude. Like talk about it. You don't have to like reflect it back in as I say, in a disingenuous way. But if somebody is indicating, or they're posting about the same stuff, or they're talking about the same thing, like that's something that's close to them. You talk to them about that, you break the ice. The ice is broken immediately, and they like you. Right? This is not rocket science. It's just take some time and look at it. So he's on a mission to shift Muslims away from Reba, in other words, interest. Oh, there you go, right? Even more pertinent than I thought, and to help improve people's financial literacy through education, right? With a huge focus on Islamic finance, because I believe Islamic finance fulfills the requirements needed to build and protect wealth. Okay, so that's where my head went immediately. He's spelt it out for me, just in case I didn't know. So again, you could talk about that. You know, loving this. How are you doing it? It's always fascinated me, you know, how the Muslims don't pay interest, and yet commerce continues. I'm fascinated by your approach to your education. I'd like to find out more. Let's connect. It's like, I promise you, is accepting that connection request, right? And so we go on. So you see what I'm saying? Like, you can read anything. There's like, just find a red umbrella. This bloke's got millions, but he's got one in particular, right? Because he's telling he's on a mission. He's passionate. That's what it is. So that's the one you should pick on, because that's the one that he's telling you it is. But there's so many, right? After this, we can go in. So he didn't, but yeah, posted some stuff. I could go into the post if I wanted to. He's probably got a few videos I could go watch, etc. But I'm always trying to do this as fast as I can, by the way, because this takes lots of time. But if it's important enough, go watch the videos, right? And again, he's telling me. So here's easy, right? Very easy to write a personalized connection request to Ikshan, right? Let's see if goodness was as good to us as Ikshan was. Not so much. Okay, no banner, and not the best photo, but okay-ish. Software engineer student. Okay, so we'll forgive her because she's not into the wide world of commerce. But again, 99 connections, not great. So I know she's a student. So if it was important for me to speak to her, I could talk about student. I could say, what is she studying? How's the studying going? It's always hard, you know, breaking into the working world, or something along those lines, right? What she's saying in her about section. For 1 year and 8 months, I've served high net worth individuals and families in a fiduciary capacity, helping them reach their goals and preserve their wealth. I put all my clients' best interests before my own. I'm responsive to all their needs, help me achieve a problem, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so she's into high net worth individuals, you know. So I might say, hey, I see you're into serving high net worth individuals. You know, what's your best source for finding them? You know, is it people in the profession or business owners? Okay, now I know that's, when I speak to financial advisors, they always tell me, I want high net worth individuals and business owners and professionals, right? So I know that's topical. I'm just asking the question, and she's going to answer that, right? Let's connect. She's not necessarily going to answer, but she'll accept the connection request. See what I'm trying? I'm just trying to show you how to find things that work. Now, this is a shitty profile. There's not a lot like Ikshan's, right? So here I've got to think outside the box a bit. I'm using my knowledge of the people that I'm dealing with, because I deal with them all the time. This is what you want to do. Okay, I could look at the posts. I think basic something might be the start of something great. There might be an interesting post. Maybe. I'm happy to share the certificate. Okay. Again, I could congratulate her on that. And she'd probably be happy with that. Not much going on here. So you can see sometimes the profiles are crappy and you have to work hard. Like, yeah, we worked hard to find them, but there's always something. Scotty, no banner, pretty decent picture. He's a partner at this thing called Digital Africa Ventures, and he's an angel investor. Okay. He's got a bit going on, so there's some stuff going on. So I might want to find out a little bit more about Digital Africa Ventures. I could talk to him about being an angel investor. Let's go see what he says he's about. Nothing. I mean, it's a kind of investment professional, but he's been quite elusive. You know, so I could make some sort of comment and talk about it and say, what type of venture capital projects are you looking to invest in? And that's kind of starts a conversation. You know, I'd be quite interested to chat. Let's connect. You know, that is now speaking specifically to what he does. It's giving him a good reason. I don't love that, but if I had to, I could do that. Again, you could look at some of his things, great value to add, and a really amazing solution. So this has been interesting. This is obviously one of his projects that he's looked at. Going to the post, say, hey, I saw your post on this cool, whatever that thing is, WindQ product. I thought it was really cool. Is that the type of project that you tend to invest in? Let's connect. You better be sure he's connecting with me on that. Right? Same thing here. He's been a partner, and he's relatively new, right? So he's looking to move and shake, and he did something before that. Okay, so that's the way that you play this game. At the go and find something specific on the profile level. Going back here, right? If I'm going to write something to all of these people, and by the way, I wouldn't select all these people. I would go through them and I would select the ones that are appropriate. So, like, don't look at it and think I'm writing crazy stuff to everybody. I'm not. I'm writing it to the right people. But let's say they're a financial advisor. They earn a commission. They're working for a company that has got 1 to 10 employees. Maybe they're even they're the owner or the broker, because each of them are running their own business, right? So now I can talk to them and I can write something relating, because I know that they're in a small company. I know they're running their own business. I know they're a financial advisor. I know that they're in South Africa, right? I could talk to them about, as someone also from the financial space, because now I can say, I'm an accountant, you're a financial advisor, right? I also have a great passion for the well-being of fellow South Africans, or something along those lines. There's so many things that you can say, because you're taking what you know about this group of people. Right? If I had gone and said, well, show me people that have been in their current position for, let's say, 1 to 2 years, now I'd know that, and maybe less than that. Now I'd know that they're relatively new financial advisors, and now I can write a different message still, because now I'm speaking to somebody that doesn't necessarily have this sort of level of experience that other financial advisors have. So it's just a case of taking the information that's at your disposal and deciding which way you're going to go, right? Whether you're going to write one message that you send out to everybody, like this, which is the easiest. And if you want to be consistent, you probably have to do this. Without question, the more successful approach is to write the individual messages. But it takes time. Okay? It just does. And because it takes time, a lot of us will not do it. Not because we don't want to, but because we do not have the time to do it. This is how it is. A good middle ground is a bit of both. So maybe you pick your best guys and you say, okay, I'm going to do 2, 3, or 5 a day. If you've got time, do all 20. But if you don't, do 5 on the personal basis and then send the other message, copy paste, right? That same message to everybody. Okay. Let's take a deep breath and get you guys back. That makes sense. Does that create any aha moments for you guys in terms of how to deal with people on LinkedIn?
Yes.
What aha moments did you have, Nontobeko?
Besides the fact that I'm not on Navigator yet, look, I get the personalization. I think for me, I would prefer that route. And I'd rather spend time sending fewer. And as you rightly pointed out, I mean, it's a niche. So I think personalizing it, I think if I received that myself, I would look at that meaningfully. But also to be able to have a sense, of the signs, which I think is where a navigator comes in. It would help me, and it would be nice. It's a nice to have thing. And I was wondering, in that 1 month trial, are you not able, to just do that and look and see what's happening? And,
Yeah. So don't take the trial yet. That goes for any of you if you have it. Just wait until we've got the messages. That's why I'm doing messages first. And then when you've got messages, then take the trial, and then you can build lists. Like you can build a list for the next 6 months, right?
Okay.
I'll show you how to do that, and then
Okay.
you can, yeah. And I'll show you how to do this on LinkedIn. Not as effective, but for some of you, I'll show you how to do it. So, but like that's like the practical way to navigate through LinkedIn and get into it and to start conversations with people and the right people in a way that they'll accept, and that conversations can move forward.
Yeah, the red umbrella is the key for me.
Yeah, it's always what's important to them, right?
Yeah.
Just always think about the other person. It's never about you ever. It's always about them.
But it's yeah. I've heard about personalizing things and from the start, but yeah, looking for the red umbrella is kind of makes it more, gives me an idea of what I'm looking for now.
Okay. Who wants to play guinea pig? I'm going to show you something cool because I can, and I'm awesome. Who wants to play guinea pig? It's nothing hectic. It's a Oh, come on.
Okay, I will.
Okay, Marianne's going to play guinea pig. Okay, so let's do this. Let's get rid of all. Actually, I need to go to. Let's go to my main man, ChatGPT. It's whoopsie. Let's go there. ChatGPT. I'm going to show you something you might not have been aware of, and this is the cheat code, sort of, right? That I'm going to give you. I should actually only give you this next week. I'll give it to you now. I've set you up. You'll be cross with me now. I don't give it to you. Okay, so let's go. Yeah. Right. So I don't know if you guys are aware, but if you go down to the little more button over here and you click it, okay, you can save this as a PDF. So let's see. So look what I've got. I've got all Marianne's details, right, from a profile. Contact information. There's a headline, has a summary. It still calls it a summary, but it's the about section. And then we go down and we get into more details. There's all the experience, all the stuff. This thing goes on and it pulls all the info, right? Fun bloody tastic, right? So,
Right.
for those of you that didn't know. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to say, and this is a terrible prompt I'm about to write in ChatGPT. Please write me 5 possible LinkedIn and request that I can send to this person, making sure it is personalized based on the information on the profile. And then I'll just go and get it. Right. Let's see how ChatGPT would have written to Marion. Now, ChatGPT, you got to sometimes take this with a pinch of salt, right? So I'm not saying don't copy paste this. Take this and then make it less machine-like and more you, right? So the first one might be, I came across your profile. So you're never ever going to write this shit, ever, any of you, right? Don't write that part, right? Obviously they know. I was inspired by your passion for helping women overcome self-doubt and live with purpose. Be a bit strange if I wrote that, right? But if I gave other context, you know, living with a mom that lacks a bit of confidence, I was inspired by your passion for helping other women overcome self-doubt and live with purpose. Imagine I wrote that to you. Now, sometimes you can use just a piece of it. Sometimes you can use all of it, right? Your work with emotional freedom techniques and mindset transformation aligns beautifully with my interest in empowering others. I'll have to connect to learn more. Marion, Would you accept that if you got that from
Not in its
I-
present form
Inga?
because of that first sentence.
Yeah, okay, but if I take this shit out,
Yeah,
right?
but your thing
but
about living with somebody who lacks confidence, I would think okay,
okay,
maybe that will help.
so we got a crack in the hard chink of Marion's arm already, right? So let's see what's the next one. Your dedication to mindset coaching and helping women achieve their goals resonates deeply with me. That's actually not that bad. Normally this is quite tacky because this is that disingenuous, but you know, resonates with me. You don't know if that's disingenuous or not. That's okay. I'm particularly intrigued by your approach to reframing self-doubt into confidence. I'd love to connect. So if I stop this here, so ignore that shit in blue, because that's ChatGPT, and you got that message.
I'd probably accept it, but I would be thinking, okay, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, but if you might just get blocked.
Because
of that it's a bit. If
Okay.
I've never heard of you before,
yes, you're a hard sell.
You don't know that I'm dedicated.
It's not human enough.
I do know. Your profile told me so.
Yeah.
I know for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe, right? Like that one is
It's a maybe.
right?
It's a maybe.
Okay, wait. We got more. Your extensive background in coaching and techniques. If it's truly impressed, okay, that sucks balls. Never ever write shit like that. That's disingenuous. You are puking all over that, right? Admire your commitment to helping others gain clarity and confidence. Again, this is very ChatGPT. Don't write that crap. No, horrid, right? Someone who also believes in the power of personal transformation. I'd love to connect. So that might be a line, right? That might be a line you take, and so you might take pieces of this, but that's not a bad line. As someone who believes in the power of personal
that sentence, even right to the end of it, would be fine.
Okay. A lot of people write this, by the way, share insights and collaborate. That's why I don't do it. This is very everybody writes that, so that's why I wouldn't. But Marion, she's against the grain. She would accept that, where the rest of us wouldn't.
Well,
okay?
I'd say
I'm joking.
Yeah.
Hi, Marion. I was inspired by your story of overcoming self-doubt and following your dream. You're helping women create a clear vision for the future. It's amazing. I enjoy the opportunity to connect and perhaps share a virtual coffee. Way too much, right? None of this asking for nothing. Whoa, way too early, but don't even know you. So the first bit is not, this isn't the best message. But again, sometimes you take an idea and then you tweak it. So like I'm playing devil's advocate, right? And we're being playful, and we're using Marion, and we thank her for that, because she's actually providing something really valuable for us. What you're seeing here is how somebody is perceiving the shit that comes into our inboxes, and we're now talking to people, and you're sort of starting to see what will they accept and what won't they accept. This is a great lesson for all of you, and this is going to make you better and better at reaching out to people. So as you can see, chat's not always great, but I mean, listen, you didn't have to go and spend the time. You download, upload, tell me, and you have 5 options. You look through it and think, okay. And this is like, we know Marion's profile, right? Because we've lived it with her. But technically, I didn't look at it. Right, it's a bit of a cheat code. I didn't look at it. If I've got 40 people and I want to write 40 of these, it'll take me a little bit longer, but not 3 minutes each. See what I mean? Okay, I'm teaching you all the naughty things now. Hi, Marion. Your mission to help women harness the subconscious and build confidence is both powerful and inspiring. I have a feeling you would resonate with that. I share similar drive to create meaningful impact through empowering others. I'd love to connect. You probably like that message. I'm guessing you do.
Not entirely. But it's.
See, she's hard. You got to tweak it, right? You can't just take ChatGPT. You got to tweak it, and all of you will tweak the message, in relation to your particular client base. You'll get to know the people that you deal with, because particularly if you're niching, that's one of the beauties of niching, is that you do get to learn stuff. After a while, the problems are the same, the opportunities are the same, the issues are the same, the objections are the same. the resources, the obstacle, everything is the same, right? They're just slightly different for a slightly different person, and then life becomes easy. Not
yeah,
just in.
can I just say that in those messages, I think the word inspiring is the one that's a red flag for me. Because that's where I'm saying, I haven't heard from you. We've had no so how am I inspiring? Reading my profile didn't come to me, isn't like it's inspiring. You could just that sentence that, your mission is blah, blah, powerful. And think, okay, he's read my profile.
Yeah.
But as soon as you say, and inspiring, I'm thinking, what do you want from me?
100%, right? So hopefully that was like a really insightful exercise for you guys. You might think of LinkedIn and connecting, and we're using LinkedIn, but like pick a platform, right? It's all the same. Like just be human, for goodness sake. You should be connecting with the right people. If you are, there is a good reason. Even if you do not want to buy LinkedIn services today, I'm talking to all of you now. It's irrelevant, right? The fact of the matter is, there might be a day that you do. You are all buyers of client acquisition. That's why you're here. Imagine I sell, I don't know, email marketing. I could legitimately sell that to all of you. You may not be buyers of email marketing today, but you are all buyers of email marketing at some point.
I would read your proposition with more interest than I would read Joe blogs that arrived on the same day or the same week.
But
it's because of that connection, and
all of this stuff fits together, right? That's why we started where we did. That's why we picked the niche. That, like, we spent a lot of time. You probably thought, "Genius, does this thing ever start?" It didn't start because it's that important. Now you can see how easy it is. Now that you have that and you know what's going on, this becomes much easier. When you don't, you have no idea how to write a message. Like, you don't know if the message is good or bad. Okay, I think I've bombarded you enough. Hopefully I've given you like a lot to think about. So just going back to finish up. So technically, homework for today.
James?
Yes.
If I can actually, I don't know, I don't want to say that just advice, just give some maybe tip to someone who doesn't believe in ChatGPT, because I'm a biggest fan of ChatGPT. And while using, I just also got some experience with something like, for example, if this prompt is a little bit too cheesy or something else, just say like, please rewrite it in less formal, much shorter way, or not so cheesy way, or something like this. And then ChatGPT is just giving you another suggestions, which can be very inspiring too. Because
so let's prove a point. Rewrite all of these messages in a more conversational,
for example, or less formal way and shorter tone.
Let's just see. Okay. This isn't a ChatGPT lesson. I'm throwing this at you. If you want a ChatGPT, so we'll do that later. I was just thinking.
I just see only that Marion is a little bit like not believing in ChatGPT, and you, James, and me, we are the biggest fan.
Shit, it's crazy. It's come today. Why don't you do conversational? Must be busy.
It's the Stargate that's too busy now.
Yeah, I guess. All right. Here. Oh, here we go. Here we go. See, Marion, you are even ChatGPT is finding you're a tough nut to crack. Let's see what it does. You get when it's slow like this, it's the servers are overloaded. I'll tell you what. I'll come back to this in a second. Let me just finish up here, because when we were speaking about looking on the using the filters, these are the different types of filters you can use, right? So if you're creating a common ground, right? So you're trying to write the same message to a lot of people. Something that you have in common, like, hey, we're going to donor the All Blacks, these are ideas. Did you attend the same university? Did you work at the same company before? Did you study the same thing? Do you live in the same area? Local is very lekker. That's a good one if you can do it. Do you work in the same industry or field? Part of the same group? Are they connected to other people that you're connected to? Have you met them before? Like if you meet anybody, like at a conference, at the line in Pick and Pay, while you're buying groceries, like just send them a connection request or any other shared interests. Okay, so here are just a bunch of ideas. Okay, I want to get your own minds going. So although I've shown you a few hacks, what I want you guys to do is I want you guys to try these templates. Okay, now you can't actually fill out the whole template because it depends on the particular profile. But what I want you to do is I want you guys to try to do this piece over here, this middle piece, to show them why you are valuable. So I want you guys to come up, and you can use ChatGPT. I don't care how you do this. Use your ingenuity. Come up with as many reasons as you can be useful to your ideal client. Okay. And then so in fact what you can do is you can write this message. I want you to write, so I want you to do two things. I want you to write this message. So you're going to share your best version of this message with the group next week, and then you're going to come up with as many reasons that you are valuable to them. Okay, and when you write the message, remember you want to be a real human. You don't want people to say, oh, the machine wrote that, or no, you don't even know me. All that stuff we spoke about. No, you want this to come across as genuine, authentic, and not being overly salesy. Okay, so that's the goal. So be quite an interesting little exercise for you guys to do that. Okay, let's go back to Mr. Chettles. Right, let's see. Our conversation. Hi, Marion. I just came across your profile, and I have to say, your passion for helping women overcome self-doubt and live with purpose is so inspiring. I love how you use EFT and mindset work to create real transformation. Okay, I think they got worse personally. Sometimes it will, right? Sometimes they'll get worse, right? Your work caught my eye because I'm also passionate about helping others achieve their goals. The way you help women turn self-doubt into confidence is amazing. Sounds like we have a lot in common. I'd love to connect. Oh, that's even Marion would have to think about that.
It's better than the first one. Put it that way.
There you go. Right. So I'm going to tell you. Let me give you an interesting tip on ChatGPT. But this is kind of, by the way, ChatGPT, the way that it's programmed, right? The job of ChatGPT is to predict the next word. That's how it's programmed. Predict the next word has now become predict the next sentence, etc. So it's very predictable. That's what it is. And that's why you see a lot of the same text. That's why you see stuff you want to vomit all over. Because it's been trained on tons and tons of shitty data where people have spammed people. And so now ChatGPT has been trained, oh, you use these spammy messages to create messages. No, we don't. Okay. So that's why sometimes it's going to give you stuff you don't want. So we've got to break it out of that which is bad. A really good trick with ChatGPT, regardless of when you're asking it for something, is get it to write the something you want and then tell it, no, I don't like that because of this, 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 and this. Rewrite it. Your second rewrite, in many cases, be at least 50%, if not more, better than the first. That's like not many people know that, but that's a trick to work with AI. That's kind of what we did here. We just gave it slightly different prompts, but your second prompt gives you infinitely better results in yours. So get ChatGPT to write something crappy and then tell it no, fix it by doing this, this, and this, and it will give you something amazing. Inspired. Wow, your background in coaching and EFT is really impressive. I love it. If you dedicate yourself to helping others gain clarity and confidence, it would be great to connect and exchange ideas. I think we have some interesting conversations. Okay, so we hated that one the first time as well. It hasn't got any better. I read your story and it really spoke to me. So like that's kind of cool, right? Like you got to be hard pressed to like say no to that. I read your story. First I got it. Oh shit. I got to go in 3 minutes because I still go to the toilet. But I read your story, like that's starting to speak to you, right? It's incredible how you turn self-doubt into living your dream. you're on the fence on that one. You're not sure. If I just said,
Incredible, so incredible.
I liked how I would have said I liked how, right?
Yeah.
I'd love to and maybe share virtual coffee. This share virtual coffee should no, that's for later on. Enjoy your approach. Yeah, I enjoy hearing about your approach. That's actually not the worst request in the world. And then you see the last one. I love your mission and helping women unlock their potential to build confidence is such important work. And what about creating meaningful impact too? And see that would fly if your profile was good. Because you'd probably look at that profile, and if the profile is good, you'd accept.
Yeah. At least it sounds like a human.
Yeah. So okay. So I've given you guys lots of very, very cool stuff today. Like if nothing else, just today's session is probably worth the price of admission. That was free, so maybe there's no price. But if it was paid for, that today would have been worth the price of admission for you guys to put something together. So hopefully this is going to give you a very different perspective of being out there and looking at profiles and starting to connect with people. So go do that little exercise, apply your minds, stretch yourselves, because this is hard. It's harder than it looks. But when you sit down and think about it, always think about your ideal client and write everything from their perspective. All right.
Thank you.
Okay. I hope I didn't break your minds too much. See you all next week.
Thanks, James.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye.
I have one question, if I can.
Can't. Got to go to the toilet. I've got 2 minutes to get to my next session.
Okay, 10 seconds. I need 10 seconds.
Okay.
Only don't
persuasive,
forget to keep the video to this session and the previous session, because I would like to actually listen to it again. And I also would like to get a link to this robot chat GPT when you can find your niche, because it just, I don't know, I was trying actually to work on my homework and I couldn't.
Okay, I'm going to put it in the chat. You must copy quick.
Just save the chat quickest.
Yeah, save the
Yeah,
chat.
because I stayed with it and then I lost it. Where is this chat? My word.
Okay,
where is the chat?
It's in the chat.
Chat is at bottom of the screen.
Yes.
No.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
3 dots at the top will save it.
All right, cool. All right, guys. Catch you later. See you next week.
Cheers.
All right, cheers. Bye.